to try his sous vide, it's a great time to check out his entire store on our website. Now, while we're in the mood for wine,
while we're talking wine.
While we are, and we just had like 7 bottles opened, Stephanie Roberts is gonna make every single one of them better. Now, what you're seeing on your screen is the Waerator. Now, Wine Enthusiast magazine named this the #1 wine accessory for every single person who drinks wine out there, because you don't need a big, heavy, fancy decanter that's impossible to clean. You don't need to let it breathe for an hour or 2. You can store it, you can save it, and you can make it all taste better with a push-button aerating technology. No cartridge to ever replace, a one-and-done extraordinary product. Now, I had the privilege of launching this product back in December. We sold it out in 1 airing with 900 in stock. I have 895 in stock. So I would expect it's going to happen again. It's $15 on your credit card. You probably can't find it on the Big A website right now because they sell out of it just about every single week. It comes in black and it comes in red. It will prolong the life of your wine. It makes any ho-hum bottle of wine taste better on first glance.
It will change how you drink wine.
Right, it changes it. Tell us a little bit about why it makes it different and better.
So this is the concept of aeration. You have heard, I am sure, before that a fine wine, especially a red wine, should be decanted.
Right.
What a sommelier or a fine wine person would tell you, that means it should be in a decanter, which means open to air for 2 hours. At what point in time have you ever sat and let your wine breathe, as they call it, for 2 hours? I know mine is a big fat never. Even at the finest restaurants, they are not letting their wine breathe for 2 hours. So instead of doing that, you can aerate it by having air pumped up through the bottle of wine, and with the push of a button, it's also dispensing. So I look at this as a wine system. I am aerating, which means I'm introducing oxygen into the bottle of wine. Now, what makes the Waerator different than any of those pour-through aerators that you might have seen, this reaches all the way down into the bottle of wine so that every bit of my wine is kissed, shall we say, by oxygen. That oxygen smooths everything out. Have you ever had...
So it lowers the acidity, it lowers the tannins.
We call it smoothing. Have you ever had a sip of a wine, and it's typically red?
And it has a bite.
Well, it kind of makes you go, ooh. Yeah. And you know, it happens more often with less expensive wines. And the reason is the grapes are not as mature. They have not aged. All the reasons that wine has all those price points. When you aerate your wine, a cheap bottle of wine tastes like an expensive bottle of wine. So what I have found by using this on many, many different bottles at all price points, everything tastes like a smooth, lovely, drinkable bottle of wine. It's amazing.
It's a dispenser, it's a saver, it's a pourer, and it truly takes any $20 bottle of wine and turns it into a $50 bottle of wine.
Absolutely.
A $50 bottle of wine and turns it into a $100 bottle of wine. I grew up in college on what we call $2 chuck, and maybe it would taste like $8 chuck. I mean, it's not a miracle worker, come on. But for anybody out there that wants to do what the sommeliers, what the wine enthusiasts, what the experts tell you you're supposed to wait 2 hours for, you don't have 2 hours, the bottle's gone in 20 minutes, it's right here at the push of a button. Everything you need to use your Waerator is included with your purchase today. It has been one of the fastest selling, most buzzed about wine accessories in the entire industry. We sold it out in December. We got exactly the same number of units back, and it's your chance to join us and try it out. For your whites, for your reds, push button technology, no cartridges, no waiting, and it does it, you can see right here with our white, all the way down to the bottom of the bottle, all through every single drop that's poured.
And you can see the little bubbles, and that's what I like. Those are the little bubbles that are oxygenating the wine. The oxygen is coming into the wine to smooth out the taste. It works for whites, it works for reds. There's a couple of other little features of this that I love as well. The push button dispense, very nice. So when I'm serving, I never have to tip the bottle. I simply push the button. If you've ever been at a dinner party and you're trying to serve the wine, trying to pour, especially red wine, carefully, classily, without dripping all over it. That is an art that servers have and that I don't.
Right.
So I like the fact now that...
it's a tablecloth saver too.
Exactly. So that when I am serving wine, you know, there's no mystery here on how I'm going to do it. But this time of year, many of us are counting calories. This dispenses at exactly 1 ounce per second. So that if I know I'm allowing myself 4 or 5 ounces of wine, let's get it going. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. These are big glasses. 3 Mississippi, 4, Mississippi. This may depress you, but that is about 4 ounces of wine. Now that is a deep glass, so it would look different in a smaller glass, but it does also give measured dispensing. So it's a system to me. It is aerating, it is dispensing, and it is also saving, because I want to take this apart and show you that we have a vacuum seal within the handle. So in terms of once I put my aerator on, I can leave this either on the counter or in the fridge, and I've got a good, I'd say safely 4-day vacuum seal for any bottle.
And here's the thing to think about, as well as not wasting the wine, as well as being able to portion control and serve it out perfectly. Try a little personal experiment, okay? You get 4 flex today only. You get the only chance to shop for the Waerator that we have planned in the foreseeable future. Get it home. If you buy $50 bottles of wine, buy a $35 bottle of wine and run it through the Waerator and go, oh, I can save $15 on every single bottle of wine I buy. If you buy a $50 bottle of wine, do me one better. Buy a $20 bottle of wine. Save half the price on the first bottle. Don't pour out a drop of it because you've stored it.
Absolutely.
Don't spill a drop of it and have a dry cleaning bill with your tablecloths. Really try it. You know, if you're somebody that goes, oh, I like the idea. I know I'm supposed to aerate. I know I'm supposed to decant. I know I'm supposed to let it breathe for 2 hours, but I just don't, so maybe I'll really never notice the difference. Do your own social experiment with the Waerator. If it doesn't work, if you're not impressed, if you don't go, wow, this half-price bottle of wine tastes better than my full-price bottle, we'll take it back, no questions asked. But we get a rare selection of these. They're a wonderful gift to consider for anybody that is a constant hostess or helper to you and is always serving you wine, to introduce them to what has been named as the #1 wine accessory in the industry right now. Everything you need to run it comes with. There's no cartridges that you ever have to buy or replace, and it comes in either black or red while we have them available. You've got about 5 minutes left in our presentation. It is the last presentation of the day. With everybody on the phones, there's maybe 500 of them left to go. But it really, I mean, sommeliers rave about this product.
Absolutely.
And listen, have you ever tried to clean a decanter?
You can't get your hand down in there.
It's the worst.
Absolutely. And you know, that comes into convenience and time. This is also highly portable. As Brett mentioned, the no canisters is a big deal. I don't want to stock CO2 canisters. I don't want to have to go to the store when they run out or pay for them. This is battery operated. It is as easy as can be. But it's also portable, because you all know you get invited to those places, maybe it's your mother-in-law or whatever, where there'll be a bottle of wine and it'll be served at dinner, and it might not be your style. Okay, I'm being polite. Maybe it's just not a good bottle, right? We all have our different standards of wine. This, again, elevates everything. So what fun we had in our house over the holidays was what you suggested. We took it everywhere we went and said, well, just try it. Let's try it. Let's take your wine. We had our sips. Let's try it after we've aerated with the Waerator. Understand the difference. Understand what happens when you smooth out the tannins, when you make the fruit more forward. One thing I found was my mom, who was not a big red wine drinker or fan ever, suddenly liked red wine, because she realized the qualities of the wine that didn't agree with her were changed when you aerate. When
you start to reduce the acid taste, when you start to reduce the tannin levels, when you start to do everything they tell you to do by waiting for 2 hours, fat chance bottle of wine gets open. What bottle of wine lasts 2 hours? Now, you don't have to wait 2 hours, and you get those same results all the way through uniformly from top to bottom. Now, over 400 have been sold with everybody on the phones. We do expect this is going to be a second sellout presentation. It comes in black and it comes in red. I've got about 200, 300 left in each color. Not sure as we're processing through your orders. It's on Flex only for this hour, so this is your last opportunity to be able to shop for it and get it home for only 50 cents a day. And quite frankly, you know, you can do a side-by-side taste test on first open of your favorite bottle of wine. If you don't see a difference in whatever the price point is, push the button, well, open the bottle, pour one, push the button to serve the other one, and do a side-by-side. And now if you don't think, wow, this has changed my wine, I'm gonna try less expensive wine, I want my mother to try this out, we will take it back, no questions asked. But if you realize what a difference in flavor, in texture, in dryness levels, in fullness of flavor, if you see it on first pour, won't you be thrilled that you own it and can use it on every bottle you ever drink moving forward?
And red or white, because when you bring home the Waerator, you are actually getting 2 of the dispensers on the inside, 2 of the little straws. And the reason is because I can easily then switch between red and white pours. So if someone needs a red, I can dispense my red, then simply I would make a switch with the straw from the inside that is automatically pumped through. I stick it onto the aerator, and then I can go ahead and put that into my white bottle. So I do love the fact that I can easily go back and forth between my reds and the whites because we're including two. For me, a glass of wine is just a privilege. It's something I do for me. At the end of a long Wednesday night or something like that, if I'm gonna sit down with a glass of wine, I'll be honest, I'm probably not going to sit down with an expensive bottle in the middle of the week. But why not make every glass of wine you have the best glass it can be? You don't have to spend a ton of money on wine. You have to make the wine you have the best it can be. And that is really what I have learned from the Waerator, is that whether it is a $10 bottle or a $25 bottle, it gets so much better once the oxygen is introduced to the wine. When I pour it through the plastic ones that we've all seen that you pour through and hold over the top of the glass, it only touches the very surface of the wine. The difference with the Waerator is that it's reaching all the way down into the bottom of the bottle. You can see in the clear bottle how that straw reaches all the way down. That is the difference between the plastic pour-throughs. The other thing I don't like about the pour-throughs is after you use them, you have to like lay them on the counter or put them somewhere and they're dripping. And often it is a red wine person that I say, oh, would you like me to decant that? Because I think I'm doing something nicer than before. And I was pouring it through the plastic. Well, then I've got a mess and then I have to lay it on the counter. This is so simple and so easy.
For anybody who insists on aerating, when you pour an entire bottle into a decanter, A, I already am unhappy with the fact that I'm gonna have to clean it, but B, what do you do when it doesn't all get consumed?
Exactly.
It's just literally cash in the trash.
And why would you want to do that when you could take that money and invest in more wine, enjoy your wine more, and with the Waerator, remember, this is a wine system. We are aerating, we are dispensing, and we are storing, because that vacuum seal with a bottle of red wine is one of those bottles I open and usually only have a glass or two, because I'm doing it with a meal, and so I may need it to last a few days. This vacuum seal on my counter for 4 days, no problem. Usually you're told 48 hours with red wine, so I'm doubling that.
Listen, anybody that's going through an entire bottle of wine not to waste it is a person who's also not going to work the next day.
Exactly.
Not at their very best when they do go.
So we do need to store our wine.
So join us. Over 400 have now been sold. I'm sorry, over 550 have now been sold, and we're down to our final quantities. The 400 was about what's left. So shop for it. You've got Flex while it's available. It's 50 cents a day on your credit card, and literally do the side-by-side taste test. If you're not wowed and amazed, we'll take it back, no questions asked. Stephanie, thank you so much.
Good to see you.
Okay, I'm really so excited about the next presentation. We have a chef who's joining us as part of our American Dreams project, and her product was invented in my hometown of Highland Park,